Hey, good morning everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Concrete with the Hosses. It was a snowy weekend. Tuesday now, the snow's starting to melt and get better out. It's warming up a little bit. We need to unbury this trailer. The deck is all snow and ice, so we need to sweep all that off and get that ice off of there so we can load a machine without it being dangerous. We don't want it slipping off and hurting the machine or hurting anybody. Secondly, truck, unbury that, give it a quick service, check the oil, check tires, check lights. It hasn't been moved in quite some time. So we'll run through that real quick, and then we'll load up the 306. Now this machine I'm going to take over, we have the breaker on it. The sidewalks are 6 foot wide, a little bit too big to use our contraption to pick them up and move them. The roots are growing too big and heaving the sidewalks. So I can't move them. We're going to have to break them up and get them out of there. So I thought the 306 with the breaker, and then the 305, a little bit smaller machine. We can wiggle it in closer around the trees. So here we are out in this housing plan. This is what we're faced with. These trees were planted about 15 years ago, and they're just getting too big. You can see how the sidewalks are heaving. We have a section of street walk up at the next tree, and there's utilities in it, so we just have to jackhammer those apart better. These ones with this ball of roots, you can see how it's just all mound up right here, just way too big in this little area. This is like a 4 foot area right in here. So we just have to deal with the sidewalks. They don't want to tear the trees out. We're just going to hammer these sidewalks in half, throw them in the truck, and get them out of there. And then we'll dig the roots back a little bit, put in some forms. This way we can even drill and pin the new sidewalk into the old sidewalk, and hopefully it'll last a little bit longer. We'll have to see what happens. This is a temporary fix. I tell them every year when they call about these trees, this is a temporary fix. These trees are just getting too big. We need to put smaller trees in or move the trees on the other side of the sidewalk. Either one would work. The roots continually growing, pushing these sidewalks up. So for now, we're going to take these out, eliminate these trip hazards, and we have about 14 of them to do. So the first thing we do is take our 14-inch chop saws. That gives us about a 5.5-inch deep cut. And we cut both sides of the pad, separating it from the pad that we don't want to take out. That way, less likely to chip and damage. And then secondly, I bring the 306 in. These are the water taps I was telling you about. Just breaking it up pretty good around those so that when I pick the slabs up, I don't disturb those water shutoffs. I don't want to have to go get new ones or dig debris out of there that falls in if I separate those pipes. So just take my time and really breaking the concrete away from them where I'm comfortable. I can get the concrete out without disturbing them. So a couple good cracks in it, finishing up the saw cutting. Then I'll pull the 6 out of here and bring the 5 in. And the reason I brought 2 machines over, Steven's going to take the 6 ahead of me and do braking on the slabs in front of me, so I can just get in a rhythm. He'll break them, I'll load them, and the guys will follow up behind forming. We have to have quite a few of these ready to pour first thing in the morning. So I think that should just about do it. We throw the traction mats down. It was a really wet weekend, and we just put these right in there. Just that front, probably not like a foot of that grass is all we needed to protect. Just keeping the track off of it, keeping the damage to a minimum. So with the 305, you can see how helpful the thumb is. I can just pick up those pieces right around the water taps, dig the roots back, ready for forms. A couple other little projects we're doing while we're in here. We're just going to put some connector pads, I should say, from this road to the street walk. There's an intersection right across the street and a bus stop, and the kids always have to cut through the grass. So the homeowners association decided to go ahead and do, I think there were 3 of these we had to add while we were doing this. So pretty easy digging, scooping that grass up. So I'll change the camera angle and get you some close-up footage of what it's like to dig with the 1-foot bucket. And the dirt, it's a little bit wet. It's not real nice and loose, dry dirt. So it's a little bit clumpy. You watch how I just have to scoop a little bit, then give the bucket a shake and try and wiggle it, shake it all down into the bucket, and then come back for some more of that debris. That's some close-up footage there. I made these camera brackets, and I'm also trying out the magnets just to see how they work. So they're holding on pretty good. I think we're going to have some fun with that this season with some up-close footage. So with Steve breaking up the sidewalks in front of me, this is about the size of the pieces I'm comfortable picking up. Right about a 4x4 pad. I can get my bucket underneath it, clamp down on it with the claw, give it a little shake, make sure it's nice and tight so it doesn't fall out and damage any more concrete. Swinging it over to the truck and safely picking it up, putting it in the back of the truck, as well as when I go to dump this. If you get the pieces too big, then they get jammed up in the tailgate. So that's a nice size piece, and it gets demo done relatively fast. So with all the concrete out of the way, the 305 fits in here better than the 306. I can just skim right beside that tree, getting some of that root system pulled back away from the concrete, peeling it up from underneath those big roots that have been heaving the sidewalk up. Okay, Steven is up here now with the camera, staying ahead of me. He's on section 6, and I think I'm on section 4, so I'm just 2 behind. One Steve cuts with a saw, freeing up the joints, and the other Steve hammers them in half. I think we have 5 more sections to go. Right here, how it's all humped up. Tripper. That's a double pad. We just ripped out a couple singles. We got people mad at us, blocking the one-way road. How many buses just rolled through here? 8? So that's how I'm leaving them for the guys. They just throw a form in. We're moving right along. We're getting pretty spread out. They're up there around the bend. Okay, so we are just about ready to pour. Mixer's due probably in about 10 minutes. We have, I want to say 14 of these areas to do. I got 1 truck coming, a full truckload of concrete. We are spread out over the course of 1.5 miles. We have tools laying everywhere through this plan. We're going to try and do this in 1 truckload. Each of us have to finish 3 to 4 sections. So we should be fine, but that last section, we might have to get a couple guys on it, depending on how long the concrete's in the truck and how hot the material gets. So we might be scrambling a little bit here at the end. Just wanted to give you a heads up if I'm just on time lapse and a lot of skip footage in this. It's because we're bouncing around so much, but I'll try and get some good footage on it. Stay tuned. I hope you like it. Look at that sunrise. That's perfect. A little bit.
Top of the plastic?
Yeah.
Thereabouts.
With one of the small pads done, you can just see the fast pace that we're trying to get accustomed to get this truck unloaded. Less than a yard, a quarter yard at these spots. So it just takes a lot of time, and it would really take a lot of time if we just start getting too much concrete. So we want to hurry, but we want to get exactly what we need in each pad. If we get too much, then that just slows us down. We have to shovel it into a wheelbarrow and take it to the next one, which in this case could be quite a ways down the street. So just working as fast as we can, floating in the edges, rake in the middle, leveling everything up, and bull floating, and more or less jogging to the next section. So the only way to do this is with my headset. So I hope I'm not making anybody dizzy.
So high.
But we'll fast forward through some of this shortly and get things calmed down. But it is kind of a hectic morning, and that kind of makes them fun. Okay, so these have been on the ground for about a half an hour. Still really soft. Slow and flat. Slow and flat. So we came up short, not a big deal. I think I needed 2 more yards of concrete. Some of these pads were a little bit thicker with our demo. I just used the gravel that was there before, didn't add to it. So I just poured some of them a little bit thicker. I knew we might run a little bit short, so we had another truck on standby, or a repeat on standby, and he was back in maybe a half an hour with 2 more yards of concrete and finished this project up. Look, one more of those. Okay, right here. One more to go, right down at the end of this street. We're all done. Last street connector right here. We're about 6 inches, 7 inches thick, but it's not very big. Okay, this is the first pad of our second truck. Setting up pretty good. It's been on the ground maybe about a half an hour. We're right in direct sunlight, so it's setting up real nice. Slow and flat. Making sure we're all even with the existing heights. The second to the last pad we poured, and it is getting tight. Last pad. So we just rubbed this up. We gave it about 2 minutes. Setting up real nice. We'll put a 4-inch edged border around that to match the existing walk. Start making our way back, helping the guys get finished. Look at the back of my truck. Water taps in this sidewalk, so we just put a cut through it, a slight arc to our cut to match the arc of the street, because we know it's going to crack there, right? That's a given. So just taking my broom parallel with the street, not necessarily going with the curve of that sidewalk. In the flow of traffic, we just want to go like 90 degrees against the flow of traffic, if that makes any sense. Nice and straight across those water taps. Open that joint up, edge it, and I believe we are all done here. One last little touch of broom. The edger wouldn't catch that bare spot there. So final broom. That's it. That's what it looks like when we're all done. I forgot to get some footage of that. I wanted to get the edge and the cuts. All right, here we go. Guys, finishing this way, so ends in sight. Couple more to go. Couple more to go. Yeah, give it a push. I don't want anybody slipping. Oh, that looks nice. It's amazing what a minute of sunshine will do.
Right.
Okay. So what we'll do, we're going to leave this like this for today. Tomorrow we're going to come over and put a coat of First Seal sealer on here to protect it. And we'll take our forms and we'll clean up the edges. Right now we got to go get a big slab ready. Ready, Matt? Am I driving?
Yep. Too fast. Onward, James.
Let's go. Look how messy this truck. I had this truck cleaned 2 days ago. All right, let's roll. Okay, see you on the next one.